All right. Hello, welcome to News at 11. Today's top stories. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. They're waiting. Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to be discussing the importance of community, especially when you move to a new location very far away from where you previously lived. For us, that was about 1,800 miles away from California, San Diego area to San Antonio area in Texas. You know, it could be daunting. It can be definitely a little bit scary, I would say sometimes. But, you know, one of the things that was very important for us was to quickly find a community. Now, that might look a lot of different ways for a lot of different people. For us, because of where we come from and what we believe, it obviously first and foremost involved finding a church, finding a Bible teaching church, and then building a community within that. I think it's very important so you could obviously establish friendships. Also, our kids could have, you know, other kids that they could start getting to know, especially our two older ones. It was very difficult for them leaving all their friends behind. It was important for us to try to make some connections early on and establishing that community. Finally, we did find one. We did find our church, Alamo Ranch Community Church, which we really liked and enjoyed. With that, we were able to build a community. But again, part of that involves being willing to put yourself out there. So being willing to form relationships, to talk to people, to not just go in, sit down, listen to the message, and leave and not say hi to anybody, not try to make any type of connection. And that's always been my struggle. I've always struggled with that. I'm like, by nature, I'm more of a shy person. Once you get to know me, I'll talk your ear off, and I'll be a clown and a jokester, and I don't mind making a fool out of myself and embarrassing myself once I get to know you and I'm comfortable with you. And when I'm in a new environment with a bunch of people that I don't know, I won't say much. My wife is usually the one who has no problem making friends. I think, you know, she can make friends with just about anybody, and whatnot. So, but it was important for us to do that. If you are listening to this, church is not your thing. Regardless, I would encourage you to still find community, because it is incredibly difficult moving states to begin with. But then when you get here and you don't really know anyone, and you're alone and you're away from your comfort zone and your creature comforts and your routine, and just, you know, we're creatures of habit, and finding a good solid community that you can embrace, that will embrace you and you embrace them, and you guys can start doing what we call life together, then that goes a long way toward giving you that support and that foundation, so that, you know, when you get homesick, which you will, bummed because you're missing out on friends gatherings or birthdays that you see on Facebook, or you get that call from your mom saying, "Oh, everyone's over at the house right now. We made some bomb carne asada, and there's no good carne asada anywhere in Texas." And so you're just like doubly bummed because you really want to eat a good carne asada taco with some good guacamole and some good salsa, but you can't because it's not here. It's over there. It's nice to be able to have those people that you can call and have over for dinner, or you go over to their house, or, you know, you make plans with, hey, you know, we're going to watch movies together. We're going to go, you know, bowling or chicken and pickle or pickleball, you know, or whatever.
I think finding community, as my husband said, is important. For us, the first community is church. A big piece of what we wanted and we foresaw when we were looking at homes was a community that we could establish good friendships with. I envisioned having my garage open and just freely welcoming the neighborhood children. So that was the other piece that was very important to me. And as he mentioned, you cannot be a hermit. I mean, if you move somewhere new and you become a hermit, it's easy just to remain that way, because nobody's going to know whether you are coming outside or not, or what have you. And when we moved here, 3 weeks later, we experienced the snowstorm of 2021 here in Texas, Snowmageddon, or whatever you want to call it. I didn't know any of our neighbors. We had only been here 3 weeks, so rightfully so. And that was a commitment that I made to myself. And I said, I want to know my neighbors. I want to know, hey, are you guys okay? Do you have food? Do you need toilet paper? Whatever the case is. And I didn't have the confidence to just go start knocking at doors. Whereas now I feel that I could do that. I think it's important to know who your neighbors are and try your best to get to know them. If you are a churchgoer, it is easy to go to church and go home and not be the most of what you get out of it. That's not what we're called to do as Christ followers. We are called to church membership. And that means that they know who we are, we know who they are. There's encouragement most oftentimes when you visit a church. They say, hey, fill out a card. We want to get to know you. Do you want to get plugged in certain ministries, what have you? We chose to do that. Once we decided the church that we're going to was the church we were going to try our best to make our home church. We knew that we were going to fill out the new visitor form. We were going to attend the church membership meeting to become members and understand the doctrine of that church so that we can make sure that we are aligned with the beliefs of that church. And so it's very easy to attend church and then say, oh, they didn't welcome me. There was no follow-up. It takes two.
Yeah.
It really takes two. And we could have gone very easily and left and nobody may or may not have known, but we made it an effort, right? We were going to visit, but we were also going to make sure that they knew we visited. And somebody greeted me and her and I connected and we exchanged phone numbers. Maybe we had missed each other because there are two services, but I received a message asking how we were doing because she had not seen us. That was neat to do, but also it happened because we made an effort to be held accountable.
Like I said, it's important that you find. And community is gonna have different levels. I would say, there's gonna be some people that you're gonna just, have more of a surface level type of connection with, where maybe you have some things in common, like, oh, we're both part of this running group and we see each other on Mondays where we go run together. Dear friends of ours that are very involved in a running group, and they're a tight group from what I see on his Facebook page and everything, and that's awesome. Maybe that for them, that's not surface level. For someone like me, that would be surface level because I'd probably just go and run and then leave if I was into running, which I'm not. But, like I said, there could be different levels. It could be just, oh yeah, well, we're both into the same activity, or we're both into here. Whereas, then there might be a deeper level where it's like, oh no, we see each other on quite a few different occasions, quite a few different, days of the week, where that community of him and the runners, they get to know each other on a deeper level, So there's going to be different levels. There's going to be people that at this level. There's going to be people that at this level. For us, the deepest level is church. The encouragement is to make sure or make an effort to establish that community wherever you are. It could be somewhere where you've lived for 10 years and you just never really make the effort. It's important to make sure you're with people who are like-minded. I'm talking about deep committed Christianity in which there's like-mindedness and we see doctrine and theology and different things like that to a large degree the same, because these are people I'm going to be bringing my children around. And these are people I'm going to be bringing my family around. So I have to ensure that they're people that I would trust. It's just important to have. Community is so important, especially when you are hundreds, thousands, whatever miles away from your love, from your family. I'm very blessed because we have had some family in the area, and we have some family that's going to be moving in the near future, and then some other family after that. So that's kind of exciting, and I'm confident enough in the way that my wife and I do things. We're confident enough that we would be able to build a community and establish relationships here that are meaningful and worthwhile.
Yeah, and I think just to kind of close on this topic is most oftentimes, especially with us that we've moved from California to Texas, we've heard so many times, I could never leave my family. I could never leave, everything that I've ever known. I could never do that. We did that. And it was because we wanted a change of pace. We wanted to just change the way that we live. And God called us here to Texas without having established a community very quickly and building that in our home and in our lives. I don't know that we would have felt as confident with our decision as we do now, a year plus later, whether it be your neighborhood, whether it be your church, whether it be a running group, fitness group, homeschool group, however,
It could be a hiking group.
Anything. Just
All
make
kinds of
sure
stuff.
that you're plugging in, and you're not. We're not called to be alone.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. If you liked this video or want to hear more like this, please share in comments below. What is your experience with community? What are the things that you love, and what would you love to see within your community? Comment, and please like, share with friends and family.